Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Sana Fatma, working as a senior registrar in Medical Unit 2. Today we will discuss about ankle swelling. So, whenever a patient has ankle swelling or leg swelling, then we will take detailed history about it. First of all, we will ask about the onset, that when did the ankle swelling first started. If it is less than 72 hours, then deep venous thrombosis is the most common diagnosis. And if it is more than that, then other causes like cellulitis and due to lymphoma, lymphangioma, other causes can be the cause. We will ask about the onset, that it sudden in onset or gradually it progressed, and if it progressed, then it uh, smooth, regularly progressing, or intermittently progressing. So, what is the pattern of the ankle or leg swelling? This can be due to symmetrical causes and asymmetrical causes. Symmetrical causes include congestive cardiac failure, pulmonale, that is right heart failure secondary to lung pathology, and hypoalbuminemia, immobility, dependent edema, and arthritis and hypothyroidism. These all result in the bilateral leg swelling. While asymmetrical causes include deep venous thrombosis, any trauma to the lower limb, any venous obstruction, any infection, and any lymphedema. If lymphedema is present on the both sides, then it comes into the symmetrical causes, and if it is obstructed only one side, then can be present in the asymmetrical causes of the leg swelling. So if the edema is pitting or non-pitting, how will you differentiate? You will differentiate on the basis, does the pressing on the swelling with fingers leaves the marks? If it leaves the marks, then it is a pitting edema, and if it does not, then it is non-pitting edema. Edema secondary to hypoalbuminemia and congestive cardiac failure is pitting always, and edema secondary to lymphedema, hypothyroidism is non-pitting. If it is confined only to the joints, then it most likely due to arthritis. And then we will ask about the aggravating factors, that dependent edema or edema due to venous insufficiency is worse at the end of the day. Dependent edema is usually due to prolonged standing and hanging the legs, uh, and so coincidence of the edema with the prescribed drugs, that is calcium channel blockers that are used for hypertension, that may result in a mild edema. So we will ask about the any drug intake, and we will ask about the any animal bite, any trauma, or a sting. So what are the relieving factors? As we all know, dependent edema due to prolonged standing or hanging the legs. So by rest or elevating the legs, the dependent edema will get better. And so we will also ask about any usage of diuretic drugs and whether the swelling improved with the diuretics or not. We will also ask about any associated leg weeping or oozing, any skin discoloration, and any trophic changes of the skin suggestive for any previous ulceration. Then, while asking about these different associated features, these are basically differential diagnosis of the differential diagnosis for the ankle or leg swelling. As we all know that DVT is the most common one-sided swelling of the leg, so it is usually associated with any calf pain and tenderness, while in cases of cellulitis it is associated with erythema, tenderness, and fever because it is due to local infection. And for arthritis, Joint pain, tenderness, and swelling will be present. And for cardiac failure, patient will have any chest pain, exertional shortness of breath, any orthopnea, and paroxysmal nocturnal dyspnea history. For carpulmonale, patient will have respiratory disease, any chronic cough, sputum, hemoptysis, any sleep apnea syndrome. As we know that carpulmonale is basically right heart failure secondary to lung disease. Due to lung disease, patient will have pulmonary hypertension, and then that will lead to the right heart failure. And then right heart failure will lead to the pooling of the blood in the peripheries. That means swelling of the ankles or legs. In cases of chronic liver failure, patient will have associated jaundice and pruritus, abdominal distension, that means ascites, hematemesis, that is bloody vomiting, and melena, that is black color stools. We will also ask about the malabsorption, because malabsorption will lead to hypoalbuminemia, and that will lead to the due to hypolipidemia, edema will occur. So we will ask about bowel habits, any bloody or simple diarrhea, any joint aches, rashes on the legs, and intolerance to any kind of diet. Now, for nephrotic syndrome, we will ask about periorbital or generalized edema, breathlessness, nausea, and vomiting. Then we will ask about hypothyroidism symptoms, any history of goiter, weight gain, cold intolerance, any fatigability and constipation, or menorrhagia. Then we will ask about any extrinsic venous compression, that is associated lymphadenopathy, that is any mass present in the legs, or etc. So we will always suspect occult malignancy if we are suspecting any, if we are not finding any other cause. We will ask about the weight loss, loss of appetite, change in bowel habits. Thanks a lot for your precious time.